Hi guys, welcome back to our video again. So in this video, we want to restore this PCX150. So it's a keyless LED model. Based on our preliminary inspection, the engine and everything is decent, but it's not very well taken care of. So you see a lot of fading and stuff here and there. So that's why today we got to remove the whole panel and give a very thorough access to the bike and check what is needed to be done. And then we will fix them up accordingly in the next few videos. We will use a size 10 to remove the seat. There's 4 bolts here. So once the 4 bolt is out, you can remove the seat. The seat is quite heavy though, so we need to go and repair the seat because the cover is torn and it's quite slippery. Then we will remove from the top down, front all the way to the rear. Right now we need to remove this windshield and replace it. The screw is here at the bottom. You will see a small screw hole here, and then there's 2 of them. So all we need to do is just remove this first. Just slide it out, and then we can see there's a lot of dust inside that we need to clear off. Okay, and the windshield is pretty loose, I guess because there's a missing rubber damper here. Anyway, we've got to change this because there's some drill hole here that we need to replace it. So right now we just need to remove this size 10 to take out the windshield. Okay, so you can take out the windshield, and there's another plastic panel that we need to remove. So to remove this, we just need to remove this screw at the side. This thing are basically hooked on. All we need to do is to just pull this thing out that it was locked with the windshield locked, and there's a 3 pin here which correspond to this little straw like pokey stuff here, and then you were able to take it out. Okay, so it's super dusty, so just give it a little wipe down. Not too sure what's this and what's this. Okay, probably we need to go and find out what are these 2 components. Okay, next we got to work on the inner panel and the side panel. There's 2 screws somewhere here that we already have removed. Okay, so this front piece, all I need to do is just to pull it out real hard because this is a pretty big plastic stopper piece. You will have access to the screw to unlock the front panel. Okay, so from what we see, we can see some plastic rivets on the panel. I guess it's a 10mm bolt here again, and then some screw at the bottom. Okay, so we remove all the plug and whatnot, then we realize at the bottom there's still 2 more. So once we pull out the mat, basically all these are either crosshead Phillips screw or size 10 socket. So we just need to remove from here all the way to this one, and then see whether I can take it out. So first time seeing this in my life, but the Phillips thread is filled with dirt, so we gotta try to dig it out, else there's no way we can unscrew this bolt here. There's one more 10mm bolt here that we need to unscrew out before we can pull the panel. So once we remove all the screw, I guess this thing will come loose automatically. We need to straighten the side stand, and now we found out the side stand auto kill switch is gone. So this part's missing that we need to replace. So all I need to do is slowly open up this panel here. Okay, so we open it up, and then you can see there's a leaf inside. Okay, so we remove the right side panel. So this is the radiator. You can see that the radiator is a little bit damaged, and then the radiator fluid, I think, is pretty full. The other thing, you can see that the radiator guy is gone. This thing is loose, so probably we gotta tighten it and whatnot. Okay, so we found out that the whole panel is actually interconnected. So in order to remove the front fairing inner one, you need to remove the top fairing, and then to remove, you have to remove the inner one first. So how do we remove this? So you'll see this 3 pin here. All you need to do is to pry it open. There'll be like 4 yellow clips that you need to pull it out by string. Then we'll follow to unscrew all this, and then we'll work our way to the side. Okay, so after a lot of trial and error, we still couldn't get the panel out, and then we realized that this is the older model. So you need to remove the rear and then slowly towards the front. So we have already removed the box, and then we gotta remove the rack and then slowly grind through all this. We won't show in the video because I think it's quite a mundane process. Basically, as long as there's a screw, you just need to unscrew and then strip them layer by layer. Okay, so out of a horror, we remove the air box by just removing all the screw at the side. This can be the worst air filter I've ever seen in my life. I guess this has never been changed. Okay, so far we have removed the front cover, the back cover, the side cover, the seat. So right now the last piece is the front cover here that we gotta remove it. So what we gotta do next is to clean them up because they are very dusty and dirty. And then we gotta repaint it black to make it freshen it up. So we have totally removed all the panel from the bike. We also washed all the inner panel. So right now we gotta restore it with matte black paint. So while waiting for the panel paint to dry, we found that missing kickstand wasn't installed. Not too sure why. And then we have an additional relay here. We will try to figure out how and where it's connected. So we just clean off all this dirt. We also found a leakage here in the cam gasket. Probably when we do valve clearance, we have to replace the gasket. We also measure the brake line. We got to swap the brake line out to a steel braided one. So the RU is actually connected to one of the harness tabs. As we were tracing this relay, is actually on a dual horn setup one here. And this is an additional horn. And then we clean out the fork. Actually it's quite bad, as you can see from this one here. Probably we will change the fork seal. So we unscrew the throttle body and then we try to pull out the whole air box. Okay, then we also got to release this hose that was connected to the valve cover for excess oil and overflow. Now we got much more space to clean this thing up, but before that we got to cover the hose and also the throttle body in case water goes in. Okay, this is like going down to the rabbit hole. Once we open up the real mudguard, you can see that the alternator is pretty bad. It's caked with grime. Okay, so from here we can clearly tell that the fork is leaking excessively. The shock gotta be swapped out because I guess with all this I don't think there's much oil inside left. So you gotta clean it with the degreaser. And let us measure the belt thickness and then determine whether we should change it. So it's around what, 22 point something. So actually how we measure the belt was wrong. So the right way to do it is to put two flat surfaces at the angle because this is a trapezium. So you need to put two flat pieces and then angle out and measure the straight angle. It's kind of out of the norm. So this is how you measure. So we got to do it again. We bought ourselves a new YSS shock here. The top is 14 mm and this bottom one is 12. So you got to take them out from top to bottom one by one. So the bolt cannot be redrawn out without removing the whole exhaust pipe. So we got to remove the exhaust pipe now. So this is a 10 mm bolt. So this will be a 14 mm again. So what we got to do now is to remove the header as well. But we realized that the header bolt is missing. You can see one here, but this side one is missing. So we got to check out later what's wrong. So the muffler is out. Probably you can clean this part later on. So then we have a room to take out this screw. Okay, so we place some small amount of grease onto the suspension before we slot this thing in to prevent any like squeaking sound in the future. Okay, so we pack some grease into the hole and also not forgetting to apply Loctite on the thread. Okay, then we can tighten all this, but not too tight. And now the shock is done. So we took out the fuel hose and then we just need to unscrew this two plug to take out the whole throttle body. So we unhook the throttle cable from the throttle body and then we can wash this throttle body. It looks pretty much clean to me. You can also check out the intake valve. It's pretty decently clean from my perspective. So we tape up all the electrical connection. You can see a lot of gum here on the butterfly valve and then also the passageway. This is where the fuel injector is. Clean it, clean off all the gum. So this is after cleaning, so you can see it's much cleaner in both sides. Okay, so after cleaning, we will just attach back the throttle cable and then we just put everything back and clip on all the sensor clip and the fuel hose. Okay, since the throttle body is already clean, so we already have got the new air filter, which we have already insert in. Pretty easy, just fix in and then screw in all the 6 bolts. So we need to also connect back to the throttle body. We just need to make sure that the intake hose is fully seated into the groove before we tighten it. So now we have this rusty exhaust pipe, so we gotta sand off all the brass. Then we'll wash it up, and then we will do repainting over. So that's all for this video. See you on the next one. Bye bye.